I'm Victoria Pearson, but you can call me V. It is a beautiful sunny Saturday today, and I fancy doing something, but I don't fancy doing something too energetic. So we're going to go and do what all over 35s do when the pub isn't an option, and go for a little mosey around the garden centre. Now I do need to get some plastic pots to pot up some of my plants and some potting compost for them. And so my challenge today is to get around the garden centre and only get those. Wish me luck.
And so we arrived at the garden centre, and to be fair to them, they had a beautiful selection of outdoor plants. They smelled absolutely amazing, and there were so many gorgeous colours of them. But to be honest with you, I hadn't come today for outdoor plants. I'd come to look at the indoor plants. But it was still really nice to walk around in the sunshine and look at the roses and the gorgeous statues that they have for sale here. Now, if I was rich, I would definitely get me one of those because I absolutely love these little arbour benches. But I probably wouldn't waste my money on the statue things, but each to their own. But as I say, I came for houseplants, so we headed inside. I did eye up these bird feeders quickly for my raven friends and my crow friends, but I feel like it would be a bit like one of those cat-strapped gym posts where you spend a lot of money on a fancy one and then they just scratch on your sofa anyway. We did see a lot of different garden ornaments when we were in there, and a lot of them were very, very cute. And I did like quite a few of them, these kind of fairy tale-ish ones, but we couldn't find any houseplants or really very many garden plants. There were a few seeds and there were some bedding plants outside, but it's nothing like what I remember seeing in this garden sector before. Eventually, though, we did find the houseplant section. It was smaller than I expected, and although they're beautiful, a lot of the plants did need more care than I'm probably able to give them. But we did find some more low-maintenance plants and some terrariums as well, which I thought were quite adorable but very expensive, considering that I made one for much less money than that. Eventually, I found the discounted section, but not before I had to have a little touch of all of the little ferns. I absolutely love touching these plants. I just find plants in general so tactile. But then I found the discount plant section, and then we found the carnivorous plant section, which is awesome. Although, unfortunately, the Venus flytrap had closed up quite a lot. People had obviously been touching it, so it will probably starve to death. But I'd never seen one of these ones before. My husband thought it looked a bit like a Pokemon, but I thought they looked very cool and alien. I didn't get one because I don't really get that many flies in my house. I'd worry about it going hungry, but I did think it was beautiful. And I thought this palm was beautiful as well, but it was very, very expensive. So we headed in to find some more plants, but we just found what seemed to be a department store rather than a garden centre. A department store that, of course, does specialise in garden furniture, and there was some gorgeous garden furniture if you were feeling very, very rich around there. But yeah, there really wasn't very many plant things here, just lots and lots of garden furniture and barbecue things. Now, I did like quite a few of these sets, but I just know that if I was to spend lots of money on a fancy thing like this, I would forget to put the weather cover over it in the winter or something. But they had like a ping pong table that turns into a pool table, and they had these little indoor-outdoor rooms, and it was all very fancy, but much more fancy than I was there for today. I loved those little brass lanterns, and I did love these little tables as well that were slightly closer to our budget, but still really not in my range for today. I can't imagine having a whole sofa system outside. That is very, very fancy. Maybe one day. I did really like these as well, these little rain chimes, but I didn't want to annoy my neighbours too much, and I thought that that might. It also might scare off my birds. These massive barbecues here and these massive pizza ovens, I think you might as well just be cooking in the kitchen then. But I do love how manly they make themselves sound, Thor's pizza ovens, just so that, you're not doing something as feminine as cooking, you're doing manly barbecuing. But then we found ourselves inexplicably in like a candle and soap section, and I had to have a smell of all of these. Some of them were nice, some of them were disgusting, but they were all very, very fancy, and they kind of looked like they might be a free sample you could eat, which I could imagine would be a bit of a disaster because they're soap or wax melts. Then I found these artificial flowers, which I decided to take the opportunity to take a little selfie, but I was very self-conscious because it was very busy there today. Absolutely adored these wooden things here. They were absolutely beautiful and really, really expensive, but they were so tactile. I wanted to just keep touching them. They're beautiful, beautiful. And there was quite a lot of nice kitchen and homeware sort of stuff there. Even some crystals, although I didn't find any that I fancied. There was quite a lot of them there. Not what I'd expect to find in a garden centre, mind. I've seen these lamps before and I always love them, but I don't know where I would put them. So we walked through the old-timey toy section and through the slightly cringe but kind of sweet, I guess, sign section. And I guess this is where Facebook memes come to be house decor. They're very nicely carved though, I suppose. And then after that, we decided to head out. We went through the artificial plant section, which there seemed to be more of than actual plants here for some reason. And maybe they would have been more my speed. But we discovered that when I was getting the pot and compost, some plants fell into my basket. So we had to go and pay. And I avoided all of this impulse buy stuff that they have got by the counters. And ended up coming home with not one, not two, not three, not four, but five, if you count the tiny one that I put into my terrarium that I broke off the main plant, house plants today. I added this little one into Dave because he was looking a little bit tired, but he's been going along really well. I started the terrarium Tuesdays about him. Maybe I should do a little update. But yeah, my new houseplants seem very happy in their new home.
I would say that was mission failed successfully. I did get my potting compost for my house plants that I needed, and I did manage to snag some free plastic pots as well. But I did also get 4 new house plants. So yeah, a bit of a failure of my original mission, but I had a nice day, and who knows, perhaps they'll even survive in here. Join me on Monday for my next vlog. I am not entirely sure what I'm vlogging about yet, but it's always a nice surprise, isn't it? But I will be here regardless, Monday morning, 6 AM UK time, talking about something. And if you can't wait until then to see me again, I will be here every single morning in your shorts, taking a great big deep breath, letting you know what I'm grateful for, maybe letting you know the status of all of my house plants. And I will be here on a Witchy Wednesday doing an intuitive tarot card pull for you as well. I will see you on Monday, but until then, you have yourself a beautiful week.